Hey everybody, Evan here. So now that we've gotten our feet wet with some code, and now that we've seen a code replication, we're going to build our first website. Now, I just want to preface this by saying I'm going to build our first website, and you're going to code along, okay? This exercise is not one in understanding. What I'm going to be doing is very, very ambitious for where you guys are right now. The purpose is to, one, show you the possibilities, show you what's out there, what's next, but also to show you that it really doesn't take all that much to get to that next level. Now, I know you guys just started. I know this is all new and possibly very intimidating for you. That's completely normal. That's okay. But what I'm going to do is something that is definitely beyond the scope of what you've already learned, but not that far beyond the scope of what you've already learned. Does that make sense? I want to show you something and challenge you to actually do something by coding along with me, which is just outside the range of your abilities as they stand. The point is very deliberately to get you to reach outside of that comfort zone, outside of that range of abilities, to reach for something beyond you at this point in time, and in that way to really, really accelerate your learning. Okay? So, please bear that in mind. Don't feel the need to understand everything that I write and everything that you code along with me. Don't stop to dissect every single line. Now, if you really want to pause the video and look up every single thing that I write, fantastic. That would probably be a great exercise. My advice to you, though, would actually be to code along first and then go back and look everything up and search for anything new on Google or W3 Schools, whatever it is that you want to do. However, that's not strictly necessary right now. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a Jurassic Park fan site. If this is completely uninteresting to you, if you're not a fan of Jurassic Park, well, one, I don't know if I understand you, but two, that's completely okay. This is going to be a site which you can adapt for any purpose you want. It could easily be turned into a fan page for a totally different film. It could easily be turned into a very nice portfolio page for a photographer, or even a simple store page. So don't not do this because you're not a fan of dinosaurs, which is weird. Okay, so to get started, you'll see I have my template folder here on my desktop. Once again, to start any project or set of exercises, we need to copy our template folder. So I copy it. I'm going to paste the copy right here on my desktop. Yours is probably going to be in your Codify folder. Not picky right now. So I have template and template copy. Now I'm going to rename template copy to Jurassic Park with a camel-cased title. No space between Jurassic and Park, and a capital P. Okay. Once I've done that, I'm going to drag this folder into Sublime Text. And now with my Sublime window open, I want to make sure it's the right project. It says Jurassic Park up here. It says Jurassic Park up here. So everything looks good. I'm going to open up my index, and I'm going to open up my main.css by double-clicking on both of these files. That helps the tabs open and stick. Okay, if you find that they're disappearing, you probably have only single-clicked. Double-click to open them and have them sit next to each other like this. And then I'm going to check my image folder. It's empty, so we are good to go. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Okay, everything looks good. We're good to go. One of the first things that I'm going to do is I'm going to title my site. I'm going to title it My Jurassic Park Page. Nothing crazy. And let's go ahead and get started. Now, I've already planned out this site. I already have an idea of what it's going to look like. However, if you didn't know for sure what it was going to look like, you would probably paper prototype this. Now, this is something that's going to be discussed later on, but it's a process that will help you to plan and give yourself a roadmap for websites that you are creating from scratch, or even websites that you're not creating from scratch. It's still a very useful exercise. It helps with the whole blank page syndrome, where you just don't even know how to start. You're just looking at a blank page of code and you're afraid to get started. Paper prototyping will help with that. I've got my paper prototype, so I don't need it. You should just be following along with my code, so we're not going to discuss it at this point in time. But know that I do have something. I'm not just pulling code out of midair. I planned this out ahead of time. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is create a main. This is going to be where all of my main content is going to go. And inside this main, I'm going to create a div with a class of left. This is going to be the content on the left. And a div with a class of right. And this is going to be the content on the right. If I save this and load my page, we are not going to see much of anything. It says My Jurassic Park fan page up at the top, which is kind of cool, but we don't see anything yet, and that's normal. We don't have any real content in here, so there's nothing to see. All right, so moving on. First thing that I want inside this div with the class of left is the big old Jurassic Park logo. So I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to look up Jurassic Park logo. A lot of options here. All right, how about this one? Perfect. So now that I've found the image on Google Images, I'm going to right click on that image, select Save Image As, and I'm going to go to my desktop, find Jurassic Park, find my image folder, and I'm going to save it in here as just logo. Okay, and now inside my image folder, there is logo.jpg. Perfect, we are good to go. So I'm going to create an image element. Which uses the logo.png file as its source. Once again, guys, if I move too fast for you, that's okay. Simply pause frequently and do your best to make your code look like mine. We haven't done a whole lot yet so far. Only things I've changed are here and the title. Okay? You will need to independently find either this image or a similar image, save it in your project folder, save it as logo.png. If you save it as anything else, this is where you need to change it. Okay? But you should be able to find this exact same image very easily if you choose. Now let's take a look at our page. Oh, the image did not load because it's not a PNG, it's a JPG. Sorry, guys. There we go. So that's our image, but it's huge. It's huge. So I'm going to now jump into CSS, main.css, and I'm going to select div.left image. Okay, this selects the image inside of div with a class of left, the image inside of div with the class of left. I'm going to make sure it has a width of 100%. Question though is 100% of what? Now it fits on the page, so all is good. So I'm going to need to add some additional CSS here to really define what that means. Okay, so stick with me here, or pause the video and make your code look like mine. One more. Two more. All right, make your code look like mine. And this is what we now have. This is what we're now dealing with. All right, looks good so far. I'm happy with it. Now, div.write. Yeah, let's apply some styling, some CSS to div.write. Once again, stick with me here. Okay, and I want a background image in div.write. I want there to be a big dramatic background image. So I'm going to look up Jurassic Park T-Rex. And there it is. That's the shot. Okay, so I'm going to save this image now. Let me open a new tab first, make sure it's nice and big. Perfect. So I'm going to save this image inside the same image folder, inside Jurassic Park, my project folder. I'm just going to call it T-Rex. T-Rex.jpg. Good. So now I have the image. I want to use that as my background image for my div with the class of write. So to do that, okay, and let's add some additional stuff in here. Okay, once again, guys, this is some ambitious stuff. So just do your best to keep with me. Pause the screen. Make your code look like mine. We're still dealing with only 3 CSS selectors, so if you pause and take your time, you should be able to get exactly where I am now. And if I reload my page, nice. We have the T-Rex face during that iconic scene on the right side of our page. Okay. Now I see this like weird white stripe around this div that I don't like. I know where that's coming from, so I'm going to get rid of it with this. There we go. Perfect. Everything fits nicely. The images move and respond and reshape nicely. So far, so good. So if you can't really tell what I'm going for here, I'm trying to turn this whole left div with the class of left here into like a left side navigation. You know, like a nav bar, a menu. And we're going to have all of our main content here on top of the T-Rex. So let's keep moving. Jumping back to HTML. Inside div with the class of left. Underneath the image element in there, I'm going to create an unordered list. a UL element, and that UL element is going to contain list item elements, LI elements, and those LI elements are going to contain anchor elements. And all anchor elements have what's called an href attribute. Okay? Now I want 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. 4 of these list items. So I'm going to copy this whole LI element and simply paste it 3 more times. Okay, I've got 4 LIs. 1, 2, 3, 4. All LIs are inside my UL. Okay, again guys, this is the extent of the new HTML we have written. So again, if you need to, pause, make yours look like mine. Now inside each of these anchor tags, I'm going to insert some text. Trailer, about, cast, links. And inside the href attribute, these quotes following the href attribute of each anchor, I'm going to write hashtag trailer and hashtag about and hashtag cast and hashtag links. Let's take a look. All right, so my list is there, but it's pretty ugly. Let's style it a little bit. All right, so let's select the unordered list inside of div with a class of left. Now, try to keep up with me here. Don't forget to pause frequently if you need to. CSS is really not that hard. The problem is CSS has like a lot of vocabulary. Learning HTML is really like learning the alphabet. You learn it once and you know everything there is to know about HTML from that point forward. Okay? But CSS can feel more challenging, even though it's also a finite amount of information. It can feel more challenging, but it doesn't need to. It's really not that hard. It's just a series of patterns and some vocabulary which is new the first time you run into it. But the first time you use list style type correctly, it is thereafter known to you forever. You're never going to forget what that is. CSS really is very straightforward in that regard. Okay, what's next? Let's also select the anchors and make them white and get rid of that underline. Alright, now we can clearly see our anchors. They look nice. It's coming along. But I want them in the center. I want to push them into the center. So, text align center. Up here under div.left space UL. Nice. We have our menu. It's coming along. I'm going to make them bigger. They're a little small right now. It's a little too big. Okay. I can live with that. That looks good to me. Alright then. Before we move on, let's do one more thing. I'm going to add a hover effect here. Hover effects are going to be a lot of fun once you guys learn how to use them. So what this is really saying is when I hover on the list item, I want the anchors to have the following CSS. Okay, once again guys, pause your screen, make yours look like mine. If you need to, the source code is readily available, so you can also follow along with that. Okay, so I reloaded my page and it doesn't look like anything happened, but let me hover on one of my links. Oh, now they kind of glow a little bit and they get the slightest bit bigger. Let's make that size change more dramatic. There we go. Now it feels like a proper menu. Okay, believe it or not, we're almost done here. Making a very solid first page. So I'm going to jump back to index.html and we're going to start working on stuff on the right. Now I've got all these 4 different links here. I'm going to make a div with an ID for each of these options, like a div with an ID of trailer and a div with an ID of about and a div with an ID of cast and a div with an ID of links. Okay, and let's put a little title inside each of these. In H1 it says trailer. Oh, looks like I copied over an extra bracket here. Trailer, about, cast, links. Okay, looks good. Let's reload. Okay, not quite what we were going for, but it will be. Let's throw in one quick style down at the bottom. I'm going to select trailer, about, cast, and links. Oh, much too big. Now our background image has become much too big, right? So we're going to need to fix that. Oh, I messed up here. Whoops, going too fast for myself, folks. So if you are following along with me, so far you're fine, but you're going to want to find background attachment here under div.right and change that from cover to fixed. Once you do that, there we go, our T-Rex is back where he should be. So far so good, but looks like my title's a little cut off. So I'm going to throw in one more style here for some padding. Let's do alright. That'll do it. We'll make that easier to read a little bit later. Now let's throw in some real content. Look at that though. As I scroll down through our page, the trailer scrolls up, about comes into view, then we got cast below that, links below that, and our menu is still right here on the side where we need it to be. Now let me try something else. If I go all the way to the top and I click on cast, look at that. Jumped straight to the cast section. Nice. Okay. Now let's add some content. I want to add the trailer, the original trailer for Jurassic Park. So I'm going to look that up on Google. Not that one. Let me go to YouTube and do this. Here we go. Or this one. Yeah, this one. The official classic trailer. Now the ad finish. And what we're going to do for this, we're not going to download this clip or anything like that. We're going to use this clip and embed it in our website, and it's very easy to do. Very easy to do, but easy to be intimidated by it. Okay, now it's very, very simple, truly. You just, while you have your clip open, while it's playing, I mean it's paused, but while you have it open, right-click on it and select Copy Embed Code. Copy Embed Code. It should be the third one down. Copy Embed Code. Click on that. And I'm just going to paste that right underneath my H1 that says trailer. And it should generate this iframe element. This iframe element. Okay, now let's check our page. Scroll all the way up to trailer, and there it is. Does it work? It works.
The imagination.
Such a great movie. Okay, our trailer is working. It's in there. I'm going to style it just for a second. So we're going to jump back into main.css just for a second. Okay, so it's a little centered. It's a touch bigger. And it looks good. Let's see. Let's just set that min width to width. There we go. So now it's going to scale with our screen too. It's never going to run off. Cool. All right, coming along. Now, for about and cast, I'm just going to go to the Jurassic Park Wikipedia page. So, Jurassic Park film, Wikipedia. Well, first let's copy the cast. I'm going to paste all of this underneath my H1, which says cast. If you want to tab all of these names forward, just select them all, highlight them all in Sublime, and hit your tab button. They will all move together. I want them to line up like that. So I'll format those in a second, but let's figure out where I'm going to get about from first. Maybe I should go to the Jurassic Park Rotten Tomatoes page. I just want a quick little synopsis about the film. .92, that should totally be an even 100. Let's see. Okay, movie info. That works. So I'm going to take this paragraph, copy it. I'm going to paste it under about. Now let's start here at the beginning of the paragraph. I'm going to create a paragraph element. And then I'm going to close that paragraph element at the end of the paragraph. Make sense? Okay. So we have about, we have our trailer, we have our menu. Things are coming along. Let's format this cast real quick. It's going to be pretty easy. I'm going to create a UL. And around each of these cast members, I'm going to create an LI. So first I'll just create all the opening LIs. Let's tab them all forward so our code is nice and clean and easy to read. And then I just close them one after another. Okay, we are good to go. So let's take a look at our page, reload, trailer's working, let's look at about. Okay, we've got our text there, we probably want to make it easier to read, but it's there. And cast is there. So far so good. Alright, so let's just throw in some formatting for all this stuff. Jump back into main.css. Okay, paragraph's looking a little bit better. Let's make the font size bigger. Too big. All right, not bad. Now let's throw in some padding for all this stuff. Alright, so this is what we just added. Once again, if you need to, pause the video, make yours look like mine. And that's our paragraph. Down below, that's our cast. Now it's all still kind of hard to read because of that T-Rex in the background. So let's see if maybe we need a different font. Maybe that will make it a little easier. Certainly I could bold everything. Maybe we could darken the image somehow, but let's look for a different font. Now I'm going to Google font Bungee, B-U-N-G-E-E space inline. I already know this font, and I already know that I want this font for this purpose. Google font Bungee inline, and the first thing that pops up should say Bungee inline Google Fonts. I'm going to click on that. And Google Fonts, what it is a source of freely available fonts, very easy to use for any coding project or any website you want. This is what the font looks like, this one. I could test it out here if I want. And it's perfect. That's what I want. It's perfect. So to use it, I'm going to scroll all the way up. Click on select this font in the top right corner. And down here we have embed font. It says standard. And we see something that looks like a link tag right below. Copy that and paste it inside the head of your HTML document. I'm going to put mine right underneath my title. I'm going to write a comment that says Google font. and paste it right below. And that's it. Once we've done that, we're ready to use this font. To use this font, this is the CSS that I'm going to need. Font family, Bungee inline, cursive. So I'm going to jump into CSS, and I'm going to apply this right there inside my body. Let's see what happens. Alright, so the font's working, everything looks good, but I don't think it's necessary on this paragraph. It's getting to be a bit much. It looks nice on, trailer and about and all that, but I want to make a few more changes. Okay, so we're good here. I'm satisfied with that. I'm going to come down here and add div.writeP font family initial, and let's also do div.write h1 font weight normal, font size 3rm. Okay. Still a little tough to read, but you know what? I'm okay with it. Feels better. I like everything else. I'm happy with the cast. We could format that more if we want. I'm not going to worry about it right now. And links. Links is the last section we need. So inside of links, back in HTML, inside the div with the ID of links, let's just create some paragraphs which contain, actually let's make them H4 elements. And inside those H4 elements, let's add anchors. Okay. That first one, well, let's copy that, say 4 times. That first one is going to be the Jurassic Park IMDb page. And then we're going to have the Jurassic Park Rotten Tomatoes page. Then Jurassic Park Wikipedia page. Then Jurassic Park novel Wikipedia page. And finally, one more. Let's do Michael Crichton. The Michael Crichton Wikipedia page. He's the author of the Jurassic Park book. So now that we have these anchors set up, all we need to do is add the hrefs. So let's grab those links. This here is the Rotten Tomatoes page, so I copy the URL, paste it right in here. This here is the Jurassic Park Wikipedia page, so I'll paste that right in here. We got Michael Crichton right here, so I'm going to open that. Copy that URL, paste it right in here. And now let's see the novel page. Let me look for it. Here we go. The Jurassic Park novel from 1990. Copy that link, paste it in there, and finally we need Jurassic Park IMDb. So I'm going to copy that URL, and paste it right there. Okay, last thing I want to do with these anchors is inside each of these opening anchor tags, after the href, but inside the tag, I'm going to add target equals underscore blank. Copy, paste, 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 and paste. All right, now we have all of our links. Let's format them. Just by adding that right there. And okay, so I added this right here, and I added this right here. Let's see. Okay, so far so good. One last thing I want to do, get rid of that underline. Okay, I added this right here. Nice. Now if I click on one of them, it takes me to the relevant page. All right, looks good. Does our menu work? It does. Now something else I want to do here, I don't like that you can scroll through the content. I want to force a user to have to use this menu here on the left. Okay, so back in CSS, I'm going to find div.right. I'm going to change min height to height right here. And I'm going to add overflow hidden. Pause the screen, make yours look like mine, etc., etc. All right, so we see the trailer, and I can't scroll anymore. I can't access the content below. But if I click, it takes me to About, Cast, Links. Everything looks good. All right, it's coming along. Feels like a real site now. All right, so now that we've got our site pretty much good to go, I like it, looks good, does everything I want it to do. There's one other way I think we might want to make this even cooler. But before I get to that, I want to add in under div.left, let's give it a border right, 3 pixels, solid, EC3D30. Just added that little red line there. It works for me. I don't like that my T-Rex keeps shifting, so I'm going to fix that real quick. I'm going to get rid of height 100 VH and overflow hidden here under div right. And I'm going to move them into body. There we go. Now he's staying where he should be. Okay, so far so good. So the very last thing I want to add to our site to make it awesome is there is an outside plugin called Raptorize. And this is a ridiculous jQuery plugin. If you just Google Raptorize, it's the very first thing that pops up, jQuery Raptorize plugin. This is a ridiculous plugin. It's not useful in any way. However, it is a useful exercise in how coding involves a lot of utilizing other people's code so that we don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. In the same way that we linked a Google font into our document, we will frequently use tools and libraries that have been pre-built by other developers in the past. It saves us time, it saves us effort. It means we don't have to recreate every single thing from scratch. It's at the heart of open source development and open source technology sharing. Okay, so this is just going to be a little bit of a glimpse into how that would work with this ridiculous plugin. Okay, so I'm going to click into jQuery Raptorize plugin. I'm going to download the kit. It should automatically start the download. And it either downloads a zip file or it just automatically opens it for you. What I want to do is I'm going to open my project folder, and I'm going to keep this simple. Okay? Open up the Raptorize kit inside the zip file that you downloaded and select everything except the index.html file in here. Everything except the index.html file. So raptor.png, raptorsound.ogg, raptorsound.mp3, raptor.psd, jQuery Raptorized, and jQuery 1.4. All these files, just select them, drag them into your project folder. Done. I'm going to close that. Okay. And then back at the Raptorize site, scroll down a little bit. There's a bunch of code right here. Copy it. It's got a bunch of script tags. Copy that code. And in your index.html, I'm going to paste it just before the closing body tag. Just paste it. I'm not going to do anything with it. Now, to make all this work, all I need to add is a button with a class of my button, which says anything I want. I'm going to have it say, everything is better with a velociraptor. Okay? And we are good to go here. I'm going to style my button just a little bit. Button.myButton. All right. Pause the video, make yours look like mine. And we are done. Let's reload my page. Oh, we're not done yet. Not done yet. The button doesn't look awesome enough. And curious. Let's try that. It's better. It's a little too fat. Okay, that should do it. There's my code. There's our button. Now, You know what? I'm not going to click the button. I'm not going to show you what happens when you click the button. But if you have gotten this far, if you've made your site, consider this a little bit of a surprise for you. When you do push the button, make sure the sound on your computer is turned way up, and make sure you get in very close to your screen, and so you make sure that you can see it, and you don't miss it. Okay? If you made it this far, congratulations. You have made a killer Jurassic Park fan page that works quite nicely. Okay, this left menu bar and how it functions is actually pretty advanced stuff. If you made that, even if something else further down the road threw you, if you made that work, that is awesome, and you should feel proud of that. Okay, this is advanced stuff, and there's a lot of advanced CSS in here. But if you were able to follow along, even 50%, you should feel hugely accomplished. If not, that's okay. If you weren't able to, that's okay. I'd say, try it again. Try it again. Take a look at the source code. Have that open next to you as you code along with my video. If you made it all the way through to the end and can figure out what Raptorize does, then good for you, because everything is better with a Velociraptor. Once again, guys, this was an ambitious project. So don't beat yourself up if you didn't get it, if it didn't click for you on the very first time. It's not about understanding. It's just about you coding along with me and seeing something take shape, seeing the possibilities take shape. Okay, in barely an hour, we created a very nice, clean, simple site. I mean, it's not clean because it's got a T-Rex in the background, but it's not the most modern looking of sites. But as I said, this could be adapted to anything you want. If you get rid of that T-Rex, you could put in any kind of clean, sleek image that you'd like. If you change the colors so they're not quite so 90s video gamey, this site, the pattern and architecture of this site could be anything you want. You could have a sophisticated logo in the top left. You could find a different Google font that doesn't look quite so jungle safari. You would certainly use different colors and have different content. But the architecture of the site, a left side menu, a non-scrollable main content section, whose content changes based on which section of the menu you click. That is all important advanced stuff and good architecture for any kind of site you want. Okay, so if you hate Jurassic Park, hang on to this project folder. Keep it. And in the future, when you feel a little more confident with code, when you feel confident that you could switch out all of this content, do so, and you've got an instant portfolio piece. Okay, thanks guys for watching, and good luck.